the exit east, we take it west, but we realize that this is not the right, but you have the capacity to correct, to adjust. But when you are moving without direction, this is really more dangerous. And for a society to reach that level, it is, and this is what Salih alayhi salam was warning his people, that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has given you all this to build that culture. In another verse, Allah استعمركم فيها. استعمر means ask you to build it. This is culture. This is what Ibn Khaldun will refer to it as Umran, from Amara, to build, to add. Okay, so Umran is really the best translation of culture, which is really the addition. It means growth and development. And I know it very well from my own profession, because if I want to grow an organism, what I call it? Culture. You see, if I want to grow an organism on a plate, I call it culture. So because of growth and development, the proliferation. So the meaning of culture in our daily life is really meaning how much you are adding, how much you are building. استعمركم فيها, Quran will say. About the people of Saleh. So you have reached that level of culture. And you have all these bounties around you. But you have lost the direction. You are not going in the right direction. Or as we said, to the point that you have probably lost the direction. And so, as part of its tughyan, its transgression, they started plotting against Saleh alayhi salam. Not only they rejected his message, but they felt the threat. You see, I mean, he's bringing the light, and they want to stay in the darkness. And they become, and Saleh becomes really the threat, definitely the threat to their own interest. Is that right? Because no question that there were people who are benefiting from that situation. And so many people are suffering. This is what happens in most of the human experiences. No matter what name you give it, don't think that we are exempted as Muslims. No, we have unfortunately the same experiences. At the level of civilization, you will see disparities. You will see wrongdoings. You see what so this is important. This is some of the common features of any civilization. And this is why Ibn Khaldun will use the word civilization or hadara in a negative sense. But he uses high culture in a positive sense. This is good. But if that high culture moves towards civilization with all its illnesses, this becomes a threat to the demise and the decline of that civilization. So how we can have monitors in these societies, in our own communities, to tell us, there is a danger of night coming, a prolonged night. How we can prevent that by taking a new direction, taking a new level of understanding to prevent that darkness of staying for a long time and really stopping us from moving any more forward. So how they plotted against Salih alayhi salam is in ba'atha ashqaha. They brought the worst among them to commit the worst crime. Now, as you all know, remember that we are talking about societies very early in the history of the human kind, of human history, very early. So the level of abstraction is still not very advanced. In fact, it may be really very low, which means that people will need something more tangible to believe what you are telling them. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will support prophets during these periods with what a Quran will say ayat. Ayah. Today we call it miracle, but Quran will not use the word miracle. Will say ayah. What was the ayah of Salih alayhi salam? The she-camel. Now, is that right? Quran will say that this naqa is ayah. You see? So he will not call it miracle. It's ayah means that it will provide you with new options. You can go beyond what you have and you have been familiar with. So it liberates you from what you have already accumulated and seen. So you see what have you built? I am telling you this has become your prison. Let me bring you a new ayah that will liberate you from what you have really reached. This is really the deeper meaning of the ayah. It's not just, okay, I am bringing you something to show that you are weak and I am strong, to incapacitate you or cripple you. No, I am here to empower you. This ayah is really to empower you that you can go to the next level.
In your darkness, get the light.
Exactly. To liberate you from the darkness, from the prison that you have chained yourself in. So you see, and so they saw in Saleh and in his new proof a threat, instead of seeing in them the way to save themselves from the destruction. And so they brought the worst among them, the lowest of the low in that society, ashqaha. إذن بعث. In ba'atha, the original verb is ba'atha, to send, okay? But in ba'atha it means that they have worked hard in plotting and really preparing that person to do the crime. In ba'atha, ashqa. So there is really a lot of work being done. It's not this guy did not come on his own. There is a lot of forces behind that. There are a lot of people who are planning and plotting. And so yes, the crime will be committed by one person. But you see, Quran said, فَكَذَّبُوهُ فَعَقَرُوهَا. They belied and rejected the message of Saleh, and they, not he, they slaughtered the she-camel. You see what I mean? فَنَادَوْا صَاحِبَهُمْ فَتَعَاطَى فَعَقَرَ. In another place, Quran said clearly that one person committed the crime. But here, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is saying, yes, the crime was committed by one person, but there are a lot who were responsible for that crime. The whole society became responsible because they accepted that crime. They paved the way for that person to do it. It's another example where we see a social or a phenomenon at the individual level, but it can be predicted socially. It's like suicide. It's an unfortunate personal tragedy. But you can predict it sociologically. And the same thing here. Yes, one person slaughtered